This is Tom Gresham's Gun Talk, now available on iTunes and other podcast clients, and on the free Gun Dealio smartphone app for iPhone and Android. Feel free to call Tom now at 1-TOM-TALK-GUN or 866-825-5486, or email Tom at guntalk.com. Now, once again, here's Tom.
Well, it is Gun Talk Radio, but no, I'm not Tom Gresham. Tom is under the weather today, so you've got me. This is Ryan Gresham, and we are coming to you live from Las Vegas, Nevada, at the Sig Sauer Range event. This is a private media event put on to introduce all the new products. And right now, you may think of Sig Sauer as a gun company, but if you've been paying attention, you realize it's way bigger than that. We have Andy York from Sig Optics. Thanks for being with us, Andy.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So Sig went into the optics game pretty big. What was this, maybe 3 years ago, 3 years ago?
Yeah, we put the strategy together. Actually, Ron Cohen, our CEO, and I met at SHOT Show 2014.
Okay.
And kicked the program off. We launched products in 2015, and we've really kind of come into our own in the last 2 years.
And you've been in the optics world for a long, long time. You're kind of a veteran of that stuff, and that's why they tapped you.
They tapped me to lead the team. I've been in the optics space for about 15 years now. But then as a force multiplier, all the guys that I've hired, some of the best engineers and program managers, what have you, had a lot of optics experience as well. So we really have a seasoned team of guys out in Oregon.
And it's become a full line of optics. So, to really paint the picture, tell people all the different types of stuff you guys. You have long-range stuff. You've got binoculars. You've got rangefinders. Tell us about the line.
Yeah, so the vision as a complete systems provider is to make sure we have all the components, regardless of what the platform might be. So we have everything from hunting rifle scopes to tactical long-range precision type scopes. We have red dot sights, reflex sights, magnifiers, rangefinders, binoculars, spotting scopes, and now lights and lasers. So,
yeah, that's the newest one. And one of the big launches for SIG is the P365, this micro compact pistol. And when we got one in, we said, wait, it has a proprietary rail. What's up with that? And I thought, okay, I guess SIG is going to be putting something on the rail, and you guys have something now.
Yeah, so that's the benefit, again, of being a complete systems provider, is we had an opportunity to contemplate all that early on. And to put a full M1913 rail on there would have been too conspicuous and taken up too much room. That proprietary rail is really seamless. If you don't look close for it, you don't even realize it's there. But it gave us a platform to build our lights and lasers around. So, kind of synchronized with the launch, we have a red laser, a green laser, and a pistol light that have kind of an instant activation feature, right on the grip. But it's integrated into that rail.
So we ran out there because John Hollister said, "Hey, dude, did you see that there's some lasers on those P365s?" So we go, wait, what? Yeah. We ran out there. We took some video of it. We actually posted it on YouTube already.
Okay.
So first look is out there.
Sweet.
And it really is. This P365 is a small gun, and you guys managed to put it on. It's breathtaking because it's just so seamless. Like you said, it's no wider than the gun is.
No. The gun itself, I think, is about 0.8 of an inch. And it's one of the lightest, most compact platforms out there. Of course, the extended capacity, the ability to get 10 plus 1 or 12 plus 1 with the different mags. And when you put the light or the laser on there, it looks like it's part of the gun. It does not look like an accessory by design. And those products are being built out, made in the U.S., built in our Oregon facility.
Built in Oregon.
Yeah.
And I love you've got the green laser, you've got a red laser. Just a preference thing for some people. The green tends to show up to people's eye a little better. Maybe works a little better in daylight conditions. And you mentioned it, but not to gloss over it, this is, I guess, passive activation. You grip the gun and the laser just comes on. You don't have to think about turning it on, which is a big deal.
Yeah, so it clips onto that accessory rail, and it has a tang that comes along the bottom below the trigger guard, and it kind of arches around right in front of the grip. So literally it's instant activation. If you squeeze that grip, it has just the right pressure on there. It comes on instantly. And again, it feels like it's part of the gun.
So, when people are thinking about optics, God, optics are so important and make it so much easier to hit stuff. What are the trends that you guys are seeing in optics these days?
So I think if you go back, a decade or more ago, it was all about improved mechanical design, kind of ergonomics and glass, the optical prescriptions, the magnification ranges. Is it a 3 times erector system or a 4 or a 5 or a 6? I think now it's we're not the optics division at Sig Sauer. We're the electro-optics division. It's about this fusion of electronic technology and how can you bring more performance, more value to the equation by introducing electronic innovation. So it's almost got to be taken for granted that you're going to have good mechanics and good optics and good ergonomics and all that. But what value can you kind of force multiply that equation with by adding and mixing in electronic technology?
Well, and you guys brought out one of the biggest, when you talk about optics combining with electronics, you brought out a thermal optic last year, right?
Correct. So last year we brought out the Echo 1. It's a direct view thermal sight. A little bit different take on a thermal sight. Tried to get after a more aggressive price point in the marketplace, but tried to change the equation. You're not it wasn't really designed for the military user. It was designed for the consumer, for predator hunting or hog hunting. And it's meant to be mounted forward on your Picatinny rail, and so you don't have to have an eyepiece.
Right.
So you don't get that eye fatigue that is associated with night vision.
Right.
And you get your buddy can see what you're seeing because you're both watching the same screen. So if you're in a field and you're waiting for the hogs to come in, it's just a lot more kind of a social laid-back way of viewing. You can see what's going on, and then you can get on targets out to 200-300 yards.
That makes a ton of sense. Now, you guys have been on fire. You introduced binoculars and rangefinders. What else is new for SIG right now, SIG Optics this year?
I'd say, the red dot category for us has been a very strong product line. We've gotten several kind of military government groups that have chosen the Romeo 4T. And as we've expanded that red dot line, we decided to morph into magnifiers. So you're seeing that. We had launched the Juliet 4 at NRA show last year, and now that line's been expanded to the Juliet 3 and Juliet 6 magnifiers to magnify your red dot optic.
And that's a big deal. If people aren't familiar with it, they may know red dots, and they go, well, it's not magnified. But you have magnifiers that you can basically flip in front of the red dot, and now it could be a 3 or 4 power, optic for you to reach out to distance.
And we designed it. I think out of the get-go, again, with our electronics technology, we have a 2 MOA dot with a 65 MOA circle, and then we added ballistic holdover points to the equation. So, I'm getting a little older. My eyes are a little older. It's hard for me to see those hold points, but when you flip in a 4 or a 6 times magnifier, you've basically got a rifle scope. Right. That reticle becomes very functional at greater distance. So you've got that situational awareness of a red dot, and then when you cam in the magnifier, you've got a short-range, mid-range rifle scope.
Now, today on the show, we are going to pick one lucky winner to get the Romeo 5. Tell us about the Romeo 5.
So the Romeo 5 is, everybody, when they buy an MSR, an AR type product, one of their first purchases is a red dot. And sometimes before somebody's willing to make the leap to a more expensive price point, a more technology-rich red dot, they just want something to get them up and going at the range. And so the Romeo 5 is the perfect value equation for that customer.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic product. There's actually 3 models of Romeo 5 now. There's the entry-level Romeo 5 with a 2 MOA dot. There's a Romeo 5X that uses a AAA battery, and there's a Romeo 5 XDR that adds a dual reticle.
Oh, wow.
So it's 3 different price points, but it's that really good product, really good performance at a reasonable price.
So I wanted to take a call. I don't know if we still have Ron, line 1 on the line. Ron, you went to a Tiger McKee class, is that right?
Yes, sir, it is. Yep. We were down there probably in middle October. And I'd heard on your show, probably a year or so ago, about a father and a son who went down there, and took a tutorial. And when I heard that, it kind of piqued my interest, and I checked into it, and ended up my son and I were able to go down there, and we took a 2-day course, pistol and rifle, and we had a ball. We enjoyed spending time with Tiger, and just a personable fellow, sort of like what you were talking about a little while ago with Kyle Lamb. As far as the instructors, he wasn't there to, show us what he knew. He wanted to help build our skills and make sure that we were learning and improving on our skills. And we, in fact, I've been to a couple other guys training locally, and we enjoyed that. And going down with Tiger, it was the same way. He had a desire to teach us and help improve our skills. And anyone that thinks that they're going to be intimidated, by trainers or whatever, I highly recommend going down to Tigers, because he doesn't do that. He's not there to intimidate you. He's there to help you learn and improve your gun skills, and we sure had a good time.
Well, Ron, I mean, for somebody who doesn't know, what can someone learn from going to a class?
He's just basically, I know what we learned with Tiger. We've always been safe, but he instills that, just keeps ingraining that being safe, being careful with your firearms, and that's with him. That's one of the utmost importance. And then he'll work with you, and he helps you with. Well, when we got down there, he was focused on. We had our gun belts, that we used at the range, and he encouraged us to just use what we carry, and so sure. we got 2 days of that, and that was a big plus. I guess going into it, I didn't really know that it was that big of a deal, but then after we got done, I was like, yeah, there's some nuances, especially with cover shirts and drawing from inside the waistband and things like that if you don't practice it, if the time comes where you need it, you might find yourself lacking.
Well, we always say you don't know what you don't know. I mean, and Ron, so what kind of optic did you have on the rifle?
Right now I have just a Vortex red dot.
Like a red dot, okay.
It's the first red dot I've used. I just turned 49, and my eyes are starting to, as the older guys always talked about, and now it's happening to me, that the eyes aren't quite what they used to be. And I went to that red dot really just this past summer, and it surely helps. There's no doubt about that. So, what kind of ranges are you using on the red dot? I mean, because people say, how far can you shoot with it? How far are you guys shooting? We're shooting. Well, I know down at Tigers we were at 75 yards at what he calls the wall, and it worked good up close, and it worked good out to 75 yards, no problem at all. So it's definitely a help. And I was resisting going to the red dots and stuff like that, but like Kyle Lamb was saying earlier, it seems to be the wave of the future, and I have to agree with that. Yeah, well, thanks for the call. It's funny. That's what we're seeing, in like Andy was saying, people typically are buying an AR and they're buying a red dot maybe same day. Yeah, typically. And it makes a huge difference. We're going to be back with more gun talk in just a bit. Stay tuned. Give us a call.
The FBI calls title fraud one of the fastest growing crimes. If you own a home or property, protect it with Home Title Lock, or you could lose it. Title fraud is when an identity thief steals your identity and transfers your home's title into his name. Once he controls title, he can borrow on your home and stick you with the payments. Your bank doesn't protect you, and neither does your homeowner's insurance or any identity theft program. Only Home Title Lock protects you. Home Title Lock forms a virtual perimeter around your home's title. The instant it detects suspicious activity, it's on it, helping to shut it down. Why risk losing everything when, for just pennies a day, Home Title Lock helps protect you? Protect your home and property with Home Title Lock, and be sure you're not already a victim. Sign up today to get your home's title history, a $60 value free. HomeTitleLock.com, and use promo code PROTECT. HomeTitleLock.com, promo code PROTECT. HomeTitleLock.com, promo code PROTECT.
You got your carry permit, and that's good. But you could use more training. Get the DVDs, which have what you need. Springfield Armory presents Concealed Carry 1 and Concealed Carry 2 with Batagroup. Learn specific concealed carry skills from Top Gun fighting trainers. Get trained. Be prepared. This really is life and death. ShopGunTalk.com. That's ShopGunTalk.com.
In the war on terror, fighting crime in the streets, in competition and homes around the world, one name in firearms stands out: Sig Sauer. Our pistols and rifles are renowned for their unfailing performance. This same commitment to excellence can be found in our line of SigTac accessories and the training offered by the Sig Sauer Academy. For unmatched quality, reliability, and innovation when it counts, choose Sig Sauer. Visit SigSauer.com today.
Are you looking for a place to shoot? The National Shooting Sports Foundation has a great website called wheretoshoot.org. It's the largest database of shooting ranges on the internet. It's also a great resource for shooters where you can find video tips, printable targets, and a lot more. Find it online at wheretoshoot.org. And while you're there, download their free iPhone app. That's wheretoshoot.org.
Back with more Gun Talk Radio. We are live from the Sig Sauer Range event in Las Vegas, Nevada. And if you want to get in on the conversation, give us a call. The number is 866-TALK-GUN. 866-TALK-GUN. And we are going to be giving away some stuff today. Wanted to take a look at, we have a range report if Line 3 Luke in Syracuse, New York. Luke, range report when traveling. Tell me what this is all about.
So I went down to Texas with a colleague for some training on order and construction. So it was on an estimating program that we were using. And our sessions ended at 4, so we got to kill the time with something else. So I like to hunt and shoot. And my traveling companion, I decided he was going to learn to like that too. So we asked some people in our class where to go, and a gentleman had recommended a place called Saddle River Range, and we went over there. And being from New York, we don't get to shoot anything extremely fun, just mostly fun. And so we started out with some automatic rifles. That was a good time. And then we shot a Ruger SR556, which is great. And then we ended with a 6-hour P320, which I had been eyeing for quite a while, and in New York, we're not allowed to shoot a firearm before we try it because nobody rents them because, it's New York.
So you were down in the land of freedom down in Texas and got to just play with all the toys that, a bunch of the rest of the company does. How was the P320 to shoot?
It was a lot of fun. I actually met a friend from high school who lives down that way, and he met us at the range, and he's like 6'8" or so, and he's a tall man. And my colleague, he's probably 5'6", and we all really, really liked that gun. It was a lot of fun, and it actually fit all of us fairly comfortable. So it was a pleasure. It was an absolute pleasure. Couldn't believe it.
That's fantastic. It's fun to travel and try different types of shooting, especially, yes, the gun laws in New York are different, and they're tough. So, you got to try some different stuff. Tell you what, we're giving away some stuff today, and we have a Sig Sauer Optic that we're giving away right now. How would you like to win that?
That would be fantastic.
All right, we've got a Romeo 5. And they were telling me, Andy, that the Romeo 5 battery life is like 50,000 hours. Is that right?
It's up to 50,000, and that's with a 2032 battery.
Yeah.
When you go to the 5X and XDR with the AAA, it's even longer than that. So
this is something that you can have in New York, I believe. It's just an Optic, right?
Yeah, no problem with that.
So Luke, you've got one coming to you. We'll get your information, and you can slap that on anything that has a rail on it, and hopefully in New York you're allowed to have, a gun with a rail on it. Geez, we haven't gotten away from that yet, have we?
Not yet. I do have a Springfield XDS, and that has a rail on it, so I can put it on there.
And this is a red dot, so it would go on top of a rifle or something like that.
On top of a rifle.
Yeah, maybe you just need to go to Texas more. Okay, well, there you go.
I agree. Well, thank you very
Luke,
much.
Thanks for the range report.
Great.
Thanks for the range report, and and congratulations on winning that Optic.
Yeah, that's awesome. That makes my day.
Awesome. So, it's fun to travel and try different things. And, Andy, it's fun when you're trying different things. And even people are trying optics now that they haven't tried before and learning about that. I mean, expanding whether it's a red dot or it's a laser or the long-range shooting is a hot topic these days. And that's a whole different world, right?
Yeah, it's just a lot of moving parts. I think the caller earlier talked about, red dots becoming more mainstream. And people think typically about that for an AR, and the reality is like this Romeo 5 that we just gave out, a lot of guys mount this on shotguns. If you're a turkey hunter, I mean, using a red dot on a shotgun is a lot of fun. It makes it really easy. You feel like you're cheating almost because it makes it so easy. And then kind of the last big shift has been to put these micro red dots like the Romeo 1 on a pistol platform.
Oh, yeah.
And you'll have the same experience. There are guys that have used iron sights their whole life, and all of a sudden you put a Romeo 1 on the pistol and let them go to the range and shoot it, and it just transforms your speed and your accuracy at the same time. Really easy to acquire your target, really easy. It just becomes really intuitive.
And they're even putting red dots on what you would consider a traditional hunting rifle, like a bolt action. In Europe, they've been doing that forever. We'll be back with more gun talk in a little bit. Lines are open. Give us a call, 866-TALK-GUN, and more coming from Sig Sauer Range Day. Lots of fun products to talk about, and somebody's going to win that trip to the Sig Sauer Academy. We'll be back with more gun talk in just a bit.
Gun Talk encourages you to support the local sporting goods store, gun stores, ATV dealers, and other local businesses in your area who advertise on this station and Gun Talk. Only together can we protect our rights. You're listening to Washington Times opinion page regular contributor Tom Gresham.
And you're really not listening to Tom Gresham. You're listening to Jim Kenzie, producer. We've lost Ryan at the gig, so we're waiting for him to dial back in here. And so we'll just kind of hang out here for a bit and see if we can get a hold of Ryan. If not, I've got another show up here I can pop up for a moment. So keep an eye out for Ryan. Stand by. A rising star in the world of gun rights. News from the ever-expanding Sig Sauer and more. Call in now with your range reports. 1-TOM-TALK-GUNS. Now, here's Tom.
And we are with you. Tom Gresham here. It's Gun Talk, and we're going to be having some fun over the next few hours talking about guns. And somebody told me that there was an election, so I started to look into that. And sure enough, there's one coming up. Who knew? Wow, that's really interesting. We can talk about that. And, of course, there have been developments. Oh, my gosh. The polls have swung, who knows, 10, 12 points in the last 3-4 days. It's crazy. Do you remember 2 weeks ago when I said, hey, you know what? I think I'm seeing a switch, a trend, a movement, and Trump very well may have a chance. And people were saying, oh, Tom, what have you been smoking? What's wrong with you? Holy cow. Are you crazy? And at the same time saying, I sure hope you're right, but I don't think so. You never know. You just never know. Who knows? We'll talk about that. We'll talk about a lot of things today. By the way, if you'd like to join us, it's 866-TALK-GUN. And also, just frankly, it's easy. Just dial Tom Talk Gun, and that will certainly get you in there. Tom, if you are on a landline, dial the 1, of course, if you haven't forgotten. You ever do that? You've used the cell phone so often that when you go use a landline, you forget that you got to dial 1? I have done that. I think I continue to do that. It's use the cell phone so often, it's kind of crazy. So There you go. Oh, by the way, we have winners. We have winners I have to announce. Let's see here. Winners in the Ruger 1022 Takedown giveaway. We're giving away 2 packages that include a Ruger 1022, and I ask you to post your reasons that you would want one on Twitter and on Facebook. Winner number 1, Joel. He says, over the years, I've listened to most of the podcast of your show. My wife and I have 5 boys.
And we are back with more Gun Talk Radio. Had a little hiccup there, but we're back. So we are actually live from the Sig Sauer Range Day. And if you have calls, comments, questions, call us. 866-TALK-GUN is the number. And we'll be giving away some more Sig Sauer stuff. I'm telling you what, people are winning some stuff. We've got some special guests with us right now. Tom Taylor from Sig Sauer, Rick Cicero. You guys, we're going to talk about HAVA, Honored American Veterans Afield. Tell us about HAVA, Tom.
Yeah, I mean, we've been on a few times on the show and been very honored to talk about Honored American Veterans Afield, HAVA. We actually just celebrated our 10th year of operation. Started out, really wasn't an organization. It was just an effort where 6 companies in the industry took 4 guys out on a hunt. And a few months later, we ended up doing a range day down in San Antonio. And 10 years later, we've served over 8,000 wounded veterans as well as wounded active duty military. Then beyond that, we've also done a lot of family events and hunting, range events, family days, long-range shooting. And within the last couple of years, which is why Rick Cicero is here with us today, we've launched a program called Learn to Shoot Again, LTSA. Okay. And Rick can get into the again part a little bit. But, yeah, it's just been an effort where, you know, on hunts, sometimes we touch people for several days. On a range event, we might touch them for a few hours. And so it ranges in all kinds of things we do with individuals, with families. And then now we have an even more robust instruction program for people who face significant challenges when they come back with an injury.
So 8,000 people. I mean, what does that do for someone when they come back and they get some time in the field, whether they were a hunter before or not? I mean, what do you hear from folks?
We see a lot of smiles. I mean, it's you know, we have people who sometimes a buddy will talk them into coming, and they basically say, well, I can't really do this, or you know, and we have so many volunteer specialists, and both whether it's a specialist in just being a nice person or a specialist in equipment. Right. We have puffer triggers. We have all kinds of equipment people can use. We have adaptive equipment, but mostly we just we find ways to try to make people feel good about interacting with the outdoors, interacting with firearms, whether it be on the range or in the field, or and it's just it's amazing. I would say that we've had people. I mean, if we had a lot longer to talk about it, I would tell you how we've literally changed people's lives. Who, you know, we know that everything from suicide issues with returning veterans, you know, all the way to just issues of just feeling more confidence or whatever. And I think we've run the spectrum of touching people in the efforts that we've made, and it's amazing. It's really amazing to think about it.
Rick, tell us a little bit about your background and Learn to Shoot Again in this program.
Well, I'm fortunate enough. I was an Army Special Operations Intel and Commo guy back years ago. Got out, became a policeman, and was injured in the line of duty and retired out of there and went back to the military as a civilian contractor. Okay. And after 3 years of doing that, I was downrange in uniform. I had become a dog specialist through police work and got blown up in Afghanistan. Whoa. Dog found the IED, hooked back, alerted, said, "Hey, Dad, it's between you and me." And unfortunately, we had a bounty on our heads, and I was straddling the pressure plate. Dog was right over the device, and as I turned and raised my hand, it detonated, hence the loss of my right leg above the knee, loss of my right arm above the elbow, and serious damage to my left leg. Wow. So I wake up in the hospital. My son's also on his first deployment, and he's there. He makes all the right decisions that keep me alive, and there's no time to look back when you're in that circumstance. And it was the best thing for me. You know, so here I am. I walk out of the hospital 4.5 months after getting blown up, and my dad calls me and says, "Hey, you need to grab your stuff. We need to go shoot." My dad's been a firearms instructor since I was a boy. Yeah. And I'm like, "Dad, shut up, grab your stuff. We're going to the range." It was the best thing for me to get back doing the things I knew how to do. At that point, I'd been a senior firearms instructor myself for 14 years.
Right.
So here I am, and I'm back shooting with my left hand, but everything's not right. I've had to change how I'm doing everything. I had to change my stance, change my balance, and it took me several years to get truly comfortable. And the SIG brace was instrumental in me being able to stand up and shoot a long gun again. And, you know, I was fortunate. I'm the first banged-up, one-armed, one-legged guy to pick up the SIG brace, and I've been shooting it really since SIG first got the brace, and I've had a lot of time to use it and use it in a lot of different platforms and use it as a teaching tool now. And for guys in my position, you truly have to learn to do something you've done before in a new way.
Yeah, and that's what this is all about. This is a program, Learn to Shoot Again. So you're actually taking people who have been injured and teaching them to shoot again.
Absolutely. And, you know, within that community as well, even we're finding older, more infirmed veterans, hey, I'm 68 years old. I want to get back into shooting, but I can't stand like I used to. I can't hold a firearm like I used to. Well, that's what we're here to help you with and teach you. And we bring all the generations of veterans together because the age and wisdom of those older folks with our younger guys, and the best compliment I can get came from a class we did on Friday last week when one of my students came to me and said, you know, your class every month is the best thing for me because I get to go hang with the guys again, and it's just like the old days.
I love that, just like the old days. All right, stay tuned. We got to take a quick break, but we're going to be back with more of this, and we're going to tell you how you can learn about HAVA, learn to shoot, maybe how you can get involved and lend some support. We'll be right back with more Gun Talk.
Responsible owners control access to their firearms, even when they may need them in a hurry. Liberty Safe, the nation's leader in gun safes, offers 6 models of handgun vaults. Strong, simple to use, open with a key or fingerprint. Put your handgun in the compact vault, lock it away until you need it. Then it's in your hand almost instantly. Pick the Liberty Safe handgun vault that's right for you. LibertySafeHD.com.
Hi, this is Tom Gresham from Gun Talk. America is losing critical wildlife habitat at a rate of 1 football field every hour. It's happening on the Louisiana coast, but it's critical to all sportsmen and conservationists. These precious wetlands provide winter habitat for more than 10 million ducks and geese annually, waterfowl that migrate north through dozens of states. Don't shrug it off. Get involved. You can help. Visit vanishingparadise.org.
Back with more Gun Talk Radio, live from the Sig Sauer Range event. And we have some special guests here. We're here with Tom Taylor, Rick Cicero. We're talking about HAVA, which is Honored American Veterans Afield, and we're talking about Learn to Shoot Again. Rick, you were just telling us about taking out people and teaching them how to shoot again. What does that do for someone?
You know, there's nothing worse in someone's life than taking away something they love to do and having that feeling of, I'm never going to be able to do this again. When we give them that opportunity, and not only that, we give it them in a better perspective than they had before and make them sometimes a better shooter than they had been before. And when we go to the HAVA family days and we're able to build a couple of squads and send an instructor with a squad of guys, and they have personal instruction all day long, to watch that progression from first thing in the morning to the end of the day, to say, hey man, I really like that nice new 320 or that Smith & Wesson M&P or that little Ruger 22, whichever they liked. That's going to get them out of the house on a regular basis. Right. And when we get the family members involved, now all of a sudden they've got a shooting partner that's right next to them all the time. And a lot of times we'll have guys say to me, you know, my wife bugs me all the time to go to the range now. Thank you so much, because I'm glad to have that. Or vice versa. You know, we have the lady who's married to this guy who'd never been a shooter, and now all of a sudden they want to go out, and what do we have? The family unit is back doing something they love, and we get them involved in competitive stuff, hunting, or just going out plinking, and it gets them out and going and challenging themselves.
So if somebody's saying, this sounds great, how do I get involved? How do I support Tom? What do they need to do?
There's a couple different ways that people can get in touch with us. They can go to honoredveterans.org, which is our website, and we monitor incoming inquiries, things like that, that way. And quite honestly, Rick pretty much makes himself personally available. So if somebody has, a significant issue and they want to learn this again, I mean, this is not just going out and picking a gun off a table and shooting 10 rounds and moving on. I mean, there have been scenarios where, Rick sent me videos or we've been to events where he's got folks moving and shooting and, doing all kinds of things they never believed they'd be able to do. So he's just made it kind of a commitment to the organization that he makes himself available. So if Rick wants to tell you about how to get in touch with him, it's a pretty big commitment the way he manages taking care of the people we serve.
The best way that I put out there is use my email address, which is Richard_Cicero, spelled Cicero, @bellsouth.net. Send me an email. We travel the country. My team of instructors are strategically placed around the country. We go to where the vets are, because one of the things a lot of people don't realize is when you're banged up, you travel with a support system. It's a heck of a lot easier for me to bring the class to you and my guys to you than it is to bring in 10 or 12 really banged up guys someplace and support them in that.
I think you conducted events, and obviously it's a little more consolidated around military base areas, San Antonio and Washington and Florida and some places like that. But you've conducted events in 10 states, or am I behind now?
Actually, we're a little bit more than that, and we're actually getting requests to travel to other states, and we want to continue to build that resource and get more guys involved. And my rule is if you give me 5 veterans that are motivated, that have some of these issues, we will come out and we'll run a 2 or 3 day class to support that community and give them follow-on resources. And that's one of the other things we can do is we can train some instructors in that area to understand why we're doing what we're doing. And they have a resource to call me and say, hey, can you help me with this guy? And we can talk them through it and establish that common reoccurring resource for them.
Is there a cost for them to do this?
No, we absorb all of the costs. And we create follow-on resources there with ranges and places they can go and discounts on guns and bullets and equipment to keep them actively doing it.
It's been a guiding principle from HAVA since day one. We don't charge anyone. This is something our industry has given generously to support. And so both with time, resources, we don't charge people for anything we do with HAVA or Learn to Shoot Again.
That's fantastic. And I just heard that there's going to be a HAVA scope coming out. Is that right?
Yeah, so Andy York, who you just heard from a few minutes ago, is launching a Whiskey 3 to 9x40, and just a new product that they decided to. Andy, many years ago, spent several years with Leupold, and they were one of the founding sponsors of HAVA. And he's been, through his time at Leupold and at SIG, he's been supportive, and he just called me the other day and said, hey, I want to do this scope to support HAVA. And so, that'll be coming out this spring.
That's great. So if you want to get involved, or you maybe know somebody who could get some help, look up HAVA, look up Learn to Shoot Again. Tom, thanks for being with us. Rick, thanks for being with us.
Happy to be here.
It's good to get the message out. We are live from the Sig Sauer Range Day leading up to SHOT Show 2018. We still have a case of Sig Sauer ammo to give away. Phone lines are open, 866-TALK-GUN. Give us a call. This is Gun Talk Radio. We're just spreading freedom. That's all we're doing here. Back with more Gun Talk Radio. You know, one thing we always talk about on Gun Talk Radio is security and safety. And we're working with a company, Blink. And Blink are these security cameras that you can get. They send them to you. They're crazy easy to hook up, 5 minutes or less. And right now we actually have a deal going for Gun Talk listeners. So you can visit blinkprotect.com/guntalk. That's blinkprotect.com/guntalk. And at checkout, you can type Gun Talk, all one word, in the discount field, and you'll receive 10% off. And these are little, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth cameras that put them on the outside of your house, the inside of your house. You can see it from your phone. So you could be traveling and see what's going on. It has motion detector. It has temperature sensor. We've said it before. We don't have enough time to talk about all the features, but it's a really easy way to add more security to your house, or, if you had a little camp or whatever you want to do. Also, Gun Dealio, we've talked about it before. Gun Dealio is the smartphone app that we launched a couple years ago to help gun enthusiasts find out about new products, find out about deals and promotions going on. And let me tell you, we talked to a lot of the companies in this industry. There's going to be some promotions coming up, guys, and you're going to want to know about them. So you can be the first to hear about it, whether it's an e-commerce, like online deal, or if it's an at-the-store deal. And download the Gun Dealio app, put it on your phone, allow notifications and locations, and you'll get notified when you walk into a store. Bling! Hey, look, it's a deal on a scope. It's a deal on ammo. Who doesn't like that? KJ, what are the things that we're going to see at SHOT Show this year? What's your prediction?
Oh, my gosh, there's so many. We've talked about it before, and I think, the EDC, the everyday carry guy, those trends are going to continue. And I think it's going to be ergonomic fit for the shooters, concealability. So I think you're going to get a lot of slimmer items. I think you're going to be more friendly towards that carry market, and long range. Long range is everywhere, and it's going to be, I almost kind of liken it to the guys that are getting into this long range market are kind of like the CrossFit guys, and now you're going to start seeing more of those guys get into it.
Speaking of CrossFit, there are some other companies at this Sig Sauer event that we're at, and one of them is called Beaver Fit.
Beaver Fit.
How
cool is it?
Okay, guys, if you're a workout person and you like this kind of stuff, these are just neat. There are these little containers, like shipping containers, like a half a Connex, and you can set it up in your yard. They're doing it for a lot of military and law enforcement, especially military on bases. They're doing it for like outside gyms, but really neat stuff. And we actually posted a video on Instagram Live. You can follow Gun Talk on Instagram. You can follow Gun Talk on Facebook. You can follow us on YouTube. We're everywhere.
We are. We're literally everywhere. And this week, there's no better week to follow Gun Talk because you're getting live updates through all those channels. But it's great. It really is. And you're going to see a lot of new stuff. But, Ryan, what are you seeing that's going to be new?
Concealed carry is huge. The long range is huge. And I don't know. It'll be interesting. There's a lot of nice products coming out that people are excited about. Tell you what, in the next hour, I just want to give you guys a heads up. Stay tuned because we are going to have Steve Sinetti, who with the National Shooting Sports Foundation is coming on. We're going to be giving away a case of Sig Sauer ammo next hour, and somebody is going to win this trip to the Sig Sauer Academy.
Right.
All expenses paid. So if you want to win, I want you to call in. Call us at 866-TALK-GUN. You're listening to Gun Talk Radio. We'll be back in just a few minutes.